Thank you, Lord Mayor. If I may, I just want to start by asking the leader to respond to something very specific in his response. And if he can't do it in his response, perhaps he could reply separately. And this is within the Conservative amendment, where there's a suggestion in their amendment that there's a threat to the beaches, swimming pool, leisure pool, which the leader will be well aware of, which is in my ward. Now, I see where that's come from, and it may be the Conservative group have got some more information, which I'll be interested to find out about. I see that's come from the savings in the Community Leisure Trust, and the references in there to review of facilities and potential closure of some facilities. If that is the case, then I note two things. One is the scrutiny report stated that if those closures are going ahead, or those significant changes are going ahead, the department should be consulting with ward councillors and discussing this with ward councillors, and myself and Councillor Jan know nothing of this. But secondly, I would remind the leader of why the Beaches Leisure Pool is open, because there was a threat to close it 10 years ago, and the people of Great Bar and Perry Bar responded in the way that they have become notorious for responding to threats to their facilities, and all too often have not been listened to. They responded by signing petitions, and the petitions flooded in month by month until they passed 10,000. And in those days, they were all on paper too. And they came in, we presented them. A lot of them were in my house, piles of them, Save Beaches Leisure Pool. And that was because it's widely used and widely used by local schools introducing children to swimming, particularly as the Newtown swimming bath on the A34 has also gone. So if there's any question of that, I think we want to know. But I would also say to the leader, and what I referred to earlier, is that if you look at the temperature in my community, same as others have looked at the temperature in their community, and if you look at what people are talking about this council, it is deeply, deeply worrying. And people are talking about council tax strikes. And I do my best to tell them, do not go down that road, because you can't win on that road, on council tax strike. But they're talking about it because they see their council tax going up year after year. And not only do they see services getting worse, all of a sudden they see services not even being delivered. And they see the garden waste, which they paid for, being halted, stopped, and shilly-shallying around about what's going to happen. Will people get their money back? Will there be compensation or not? And yet the service is not being delivered. And the buzzword we've heard this afternoon has been transformation. And like others, I wait with bated breath, but I've been waiting with bated breath for more than 20 years as a councillor for transformation. And yet we hear more and more cabinet members using those phrases this afternoon. Now, in my time as a councillor, I'd say the council has transformed. When I started, it was probably a mid-ranking council with decent aspirations. It's been transformed into something worse. It got worse, and now it's one of the very worst in the country. It's been unable to deal with these waste collection issues. And I understand the aspirations, and if you're in the cabinet, you want to see transformation. If you're in your office, you want to see transformation. And there are ideas around, and some of those ideas keep being recycled, of course, but there are ideas around which may make a difference. But I felt sorry for my friend Councillor Pocock, because I know his heart is in the right place. And yet all he could do was talk about transformation of back offices. And the leader promised a big debate last year about the future of the city. And all we hear was he's going to build over our neighbourhoods again. I don't think he meant to say it like that. That's the way it came across. He got it right. The city's got to move out of the city centre back into the neighbourhoods. But then he concluded by saying we will build better neighbourhoods. And you know what we in Perry Bar think about that? Building over our neighbourhoods. And reallocating road space came up as well. Watch for the little phrases in that speech. Reallocating road space. Well, no, there's a potential there maybe. But we had road space. It was laid like that. They reallocated it, so it became like that. And there was more tarmac flattened out over an area where there was once a micro park with great potential. So we are hearing buzzwords about transformation, but we're not hearing that sense of a real vision for where Birmingham might go. And with a Labour government, which for all the difficulties it is facing, and it's facing many difficulties, let's be fair about that, all the difficulties it's facing, when it comes to local government, it is re-centralising again. We are not seeing the impact of it here, but what they're telling the country is you can't do things on a local level, build it up together to bigger councils like Birmingham, because Birmingham is such a wonderful success, is it not? No, people are really, really disillusioned and upset, and the leader and the cabinet need to raise their game if they are to have any chance next year at all. Thank you.